In this video, I'm going to cover the changes to drones for Kronos regarding ratting. I will be showing off the effects of the new heavy drone stats, as well as the improved fighters. For my setup, I am using 2 optimal range and 3 tracking speed scripts. I have no drone navigation computers. Wasps have received a 400% buff to their optimal and falloff. With the new changes in drone skills, my Wasp have a 6k optimal and 5k falloff compared to 1k for each on live. After applying my tracking computers, they are just short of 10k optimal and 8k falloff. They have also received around 30% more tracking, but their signature resolution has been nerfed from 125 meters up to 400, which is equal to a battleship weapon. Here's an example of the heavy drones making use of their new range. You can see after destroying the battleship, they don't even have to turn on their micro warp drive to take out the cruiser. Once the first cruiser is dispatched, they then turn on their micro warp drive to chase after the final, where they can get consistent hits from up to 10k away. Even with the changes to signature resolution on the drone weapons, the increased range and tracking on my heavy drones allows them to snipe this group of frigates without much effort or movement. Even when they are forced to chase the final frigate, they can still dispatch it fairly quickly. Moving on to fighters, here you can see the fitting and stats of my carrier. With 4 drone damage amps and control mods, I am able to reach 3100 DPS without the use of faction gear. The character I am using has all relevant skills at 5, including fighters and Galenta carrier. Now let's watch the fighters in action. While they have their micro warp drive on, they will have a difficult time tracking a ship of any size. However, once they reach their normal orbit speed, they are able to handle most cruisers in 1 to 2 volleys. Even when fighting elite cruisers, it is not uncommon for the drones to destroy them on approach. My choice for fighters for this test was the Galenta variation. While the Caldari fighters have a better damage profile versus Guristas, they offer much lower base speed and tracking. Unlike the heavy drones, fighters still have a small optimal to work with. When attacking this battleship, you can see the fighters are able to destroy it in 2 volleys. From engagement until destruction, it takes 14 seconds, with most of the time required for the fighters to travel. Remember, I am not using a navigation computer, but from my tests, the higher micro warp drive speed causes the fighters to slingshot wildly out of control, causing a loss in DPS. Using 2 allows them to catch and destroy an interceptor, but incapable of hitting a parked battleship. Here are my fighters engaging some frigates. This sort of resembles the behavior of heavy drones on live, in that while the fighters are traveling, the frigates can outrun the tracking of the drones. Once the fighters are in position behind the frigates, they can volley the target. While slower than cruisers or battleships, the time of the fighters to destroy smaller targets is not painful. Fighters have one downside that may prevent people from switching over from heavy drones. Their AI does not currently engage all targets automatically. When a wave freshly spawns, the fighters will attack the NPC that targets you first. Afterwards, they will sit idle until you give them another command. This gives you plenty of time to lock up targets so you don't have wasted DPS, but adds a considerable amount of effort. You may want to consider using a sensor booster if you plan on using fighters.